If you told me a month ago that my wife would stand in our kitchen and tell me flat out that she had a lover, a great, enduring one, no less, I would have laughed. Not because I thought it was impossible. Because I thought she'd at least try to lie a little longer. But there she was. Standing barefoot on the kitchen tile, in the robe I gave her for her birthday, holding a glass of red wine like it was just another evening. She looked at me calmly and said, "I'm tired of hiding. So just know, I have a great, enduring lover. And no, I'm not stopping." There was no anger in her voice. No guilt. Just tired honesty, the kind that sounds like a truth someone's been dying to release. She took a sip of wine. I took a step back. That's how distance begins, with small, almost polite gestures. I didn't say anything, because what do you even say to that? I stood there like someone who just walked into the wrong house and didn't know how to leave without making it awkward. After a few seconds, she turned away, like she had just informed me the dry cleaning would be ready Thursday. That was it. That was the moment my marriage ended. Not with a scream, not with a slammed door, but with a sip of wine and a shrug. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I sat down at the kitchen table, opened my laptop, and started looking back. Calendar events, bank statements, little details that didn't matter before but now screamed for attention. And sure enough, there it was. The pattern. The receipts. The wine bars I'd never been to. The hotel charges in nearby cities. All of it. I thought betrayal would feel like fire. But it's colder than that. It's silence where love used to be. It's finding out you've been edited out of someone's story while you were still memorizing your lines. But I wasn't going to fall apart. Not yet. If she was done hiding, so was I. And unlike her, I knew how to wait. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the couch, fully dressed, staring at the blank TV screen. The house was quiet, like it was holding its breath. I kept expecting her to come back downstairs. To say it was a test. Or a joke. Or a mistake. She never came down. The bedroom light turned off at midnight. That's when I realized it wasn't just infidelity. It was an exit. A decision she'd made weeks, maybe months ago. So I did what I always do when something breaks. I analyzed it. I opened every account we shared. Bank records, Amazon orders, credit card statements. I built a timeline. I cross-referenced receipts with her calendar. She'd been methodical. Careful. But not perfect. There was a restaurant in town, upscale, candlelight, reservation only. We'd been there twice in 10 years. She'd been there 6 times in the last 4 months. Then there was a hotel, not far, just enough to feel like an escape. 2 nights booked under her name. The second night, she told me she was staying late at work for a product launch. I brought her dinner that night. She never came out to meet me. Said she was too busy. I believed her. I even left the food at the front desk like an idiot. That night, she was with him. I went into the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. Not for a minute or 2. For a long time. Long enough to really see what was left. A man in his late 30s, tired eyes, crow's feet, decent shape but nothing impressive. I wasn't ugly. But I wasn't thrilling either. I was safe. Predictable. Responsible. Everything she could rely on, until she didn't want to. Somewhere along the line, I'd become a routine. And she wanted poetry again. Sweat and skin and risk. I splashed water on my face. Told myself not to break. Told myself to outthink this. Because that's what I do. I don't chase. I calculate. So I started gathering. I set up a new email. Changed passwords. I downloaded everything I could from our shared devices. I mirrored her phone to my laptop. And that's when things got ugly. There were texts. Not a few. Dozens. Pictures. Voice notes. Nicknames. things I hadn't heard from her in years. She didn't just fall in love with someone new, she became someone new for him. Carefree. Flirty. God, even her grammar was different. As if he pulled a different version of her into the light. And me? I was still in the dark. I sat there as the sun came up, watching the woman I married turn into a stranger on a screen. That's when I decided I wasn't going to save the marriage. I was going to save myself. I started documenting everything, screenshots, backups, printing out emails and messages. I wasn't sure what I'd need yet, but I wasn't going into this blind. I scheduled a meeting with a lawyer, a guy I'd once helped get a place out of foreclosure. He owed me. I figured now was the time to collect. The lawyer listened for 10 minutes before leaning back and saying, "You want revenge?" I shook my head. "I want clarity. I want closure. I want to walk away from the blast zone before it explodes." He nodded and slid a yellow legal pad toward me. "Then let's talk strategy." And that was the moment I stopped being a husband and became something else, someone no longer waiting to be loved back. Someone writing his way out of someone else's story. I didn't confront her. Not yet. That would have been giving her control, again. And control is what she thrived on. Watching me react, watching me hurt. But I wasn't hurting anymore. I was observing. Documenting. That Monday, instead of going to work, I parked my truck 2 blocks from the house and waited. At 9:32 a.m., a dark blue Audi pulled up. I didn't even need to guess. He stepped out, tall, cocky, holding 2 coffees like he belonged. No knock. Just punched in the door code and walked in like it was his home. She'd given him the code. That was all I needed. I'd built that damn house myself. Every nail, every screw, every sleepless night patching floors and fixing leaks. Now some pretty boy latte enthusiast was strolling through it like he paid the mortgage. I sat frozen for 10 more minutes. Then drove off, still calm, still focused. First stop, the bank. 6 months of joint statements. I didn't need to see them, I knew what I'd find. But I needed it in print. I took the stack straight to my brother's garage, locked myself in his office, and started marking every lie with a yellow highlighter. Lunches. Hotels. Jewelry. A flight to Miami booked under her name and charged to our card. Jewelry I'd never seen on her. Custom pieces. Romantic. Engraved. She wasn't just cheating, she was investing. In him. That's when I felt the shift. Like my blood thickened. Not from rage. From clarity. My brain had clicked into a new mode. Not heartbreak, not panic. Strategy. I called Ethan, a guy I hadn't spoken to in years, but who owed me big. He worked in IT security. Quiet. Efficient. No questions asked? I gave him her email. Within 2 hours I had access to her cloud. And that's when it really unraveled. Voice memos. Not texts, memos. As if she was narrating her double life. Sweet ones. Dirty ones. Ones where she joked about me. Mocked me. "He made me loaf again last night," she said in one. I almost gagged. God, he's so predictable. That one? That stuck. Because I remembered that night. I'd made her dinner. Picked up wine. Sat across from her and thought maybe we were getting better. No. She was already gone. I didn't break. I started writing. Not a confession. A file. A plan. Dates, amounts, receipts, files. Every lie, every excuse, cross-referenced and documented. That night I sent Zach, yes, Zach, a message. Just so you know, I'm aware. Good luck. No threats. No swearing. Just a calm little pebble dropped into their pond. His reply came 5 hours later. You're too late. Smug. Arrogant. The kind of guy who doesn't realize he just kicked a bear who doesn't growl. So I moved my pieces. Redirected half our joint savings into a business account I'd set up years earlier. Legal. Clean. Frozen until papers are filed. Then I drafted a little note, anonymous, and scheduled it to go out to her company. With just enough breadcrumbs to spark HR interest. No evidence. Not yet. Just smoke. Because people panic over smoke long before they see the fire. And Madison? She was about to choke on it. I didn't send her anything directly. No warnings, no dramatic. You'll regret this. Text. I just disappeared from her radar. That's what shook her. The first email went out on a Wednesday morning. Anonymous. Concise. There may be a conflict between Ms. Callahan's professional conduct and company policy. You may want to review cloud activity linked to her work-issued laptop. That was it. No attachments. No threats. Just breadcrumbs. Smoke. And smoke gets attention. By noon, she texted me. Hey, did you do something weird with my work email? My account is acting up. I didn't reply. 30 minutes later. Ryan. Seriously. This isn't funny. Still nothing. It didn't take long after that. By 3 p.m., I got word, via Ethan, that her corporate VPN had been restricted and her calendar entries were being reviewed by internal IT. She was rattled. Predictable. But I wasn't done. That night, I logged into the mirrored cloud account. A new voice memo popped up. Another monologue. She was talking to herself again, pacing the bedroom, her voice lower, less confident. I don't know what he's doing. He's never like this. It's like he just vanished. And now work is going sideways, and I can't get ahead of it. The fear had crept in. Not because she loved me. Not even because she was ashamed. But because the mask was slipping, and she didn't know who was watching. Her empire wasn't built on truth, it was built on image. And I knew exactly where to place the cracks. Thursday, I mailed a letter. Not to her. To someone else, her speaking engagement host. She was supposed to headline a Women in Leadership summit the following week. I didn't include evidence. I didn't need to. Just a line that said, you may want to review recent social media chatter and internal ethics queries related to your keynote speaker. By Friday, her name was quietly pulled from the speaker lineup. More smoke. She sent a voice memo to Zach that night. Her tone, desperate. They're investigating me. HR asked about my personal cloud. They have no proof, but I can feel it. It's like he's everywhere but nowhere. Just watching. Exactly. I wasn't trying to hurt her. Not directly. I was letting her hurt herself, by unraveling. She texted me again that night. Please. Just tell me what you want. Money? A clean break? I'm sorry, okay? Can we just talk? But I wasn't after apologies. I was after alignment. After clarity. So I finally answered. 3 words. Read the contract. She knew what that meant. The prenup. The clause about infidelity nullifying spousal support. The clause she never read because she assumed I never would enforce it. But I'd written it. I knew every word. The next morning I called my lawyer. Is everything in place? I asked. Everything, he said. Do you want to file Monday? Not yet, I said. Let her sit with it for the weekend. We hung up. And I finally slept. Saturday morning was quiet. No dramatic phone calls. No doorbell. Just silence, the heavy kind, like after a bomb's gone off and there's nothing left to scream. I made coffee. Strong black, no sugar. Opened the laptop, synced the cloud. More voice memos. More chaos. One stood out. She was crying. Not sobbing, not yet. Just soft, controlled panic. He's not answering. He always answers. What the hell is happening? Zach isn't replying either. Something's off. Something's wrong. Something was very, very wrong for her. But for me? It was the calmest I'd felt in months. By noon, she broke radio silence and called again. I let it go to voicemail. Ryan, please, we can fix this. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I needed to feel something again. Don't do this. Don't throw it all away. I was throwing it away. That one got a chuckle out of me. Then, at 3:14 p.m., the final domino fell. A call from Ethan. You're gonna want to see this, he said. Zach's married. 2 kids. Wife's name is Kelly. I pulled her socials. Looks like she doesn't know. Yet. Of course. Because of course. That evening, I drafted a letter. Not an email. Not a text. A letter. Handwritten. Careful. Dear Kelly, my name is Ryan. I believe your husband, Zach, has been having a physical and emotional affair with my wife for several months. I'm not trying to hurt you, just offering the truth. If you'd like proof, I have it. No threats. No judgment. Just information. Sunday morning, I drove to her neighborhood and left the envelope under a flower pot beside her front door. Walked away without looking back. By sunset, Madison was pacing in our driveway, barefoot, in yoga pants and a hoodie, phone clutched like a lifeline. She kept looking up and down the street like she expected me to appear from the shadows. I didn't. She called again. I picked up this time. Where are you? Watching. From where? You don't get to know that anymore. She was quiet. Then softer. He's not answering. Zach. He's gone. Sounds familiar. Then her voice broke, just a little. What do you want from me? Nothing, I said. That's the difference. You always wanted something. I just wanted truth. She exhaled like I just punched her in the stomach. You told his wife, she said quietly. I did. A pause. Then, you don't have to do this. We can work through this. I let silence answer her. Ryan, I made a mistake. No, I said calmly. You made a choice. Over and over again. She started crying for real then. Not for me. Not for what she did. But for what she was losing, the version of me who used to forgive, to wait, to hold the line even when she stepped over it. That man was gone. By Monday morning, the paperwork would be filed. And Madison? She would finally understand what it felt like to be left behind. Monday came with rain. Not a storm. Just a steady gray drizzle, the kind that soaks into your jacket and makes everything feel a little heavier. It was fitting. I pulled up to the lawyer's office just before 10 a.m. The envelope was already signed, sealed, cataloged. Divorce papers. Full asset disclosure. Timeline. Screenshots. A flash drive with all the receipts. Don, my lawyer, looked at me over his glasses. You're sure? I nodded. I was sure the day she gave him the code to our house. He didn't argue. Before I left, he handed me a second envelope, thinner, unsealed. This one's for her. You delivering it? I didn't answer. I just walked out into the rain. I drove the long way back, circling the block once, then again. When I finally turned onto our street, no, my street, she was already standing outside. Hoodie up. Arms crossed. Hair tied back like she tried to look calm but hadn't slept. She saw the truck. Straightened up. Her face shifted, relief, then fear, then something rehearsed. I parked, engine still running. Sat for a few seconds. Then got out. We stood a few feet apart, like strangers in a standoff. She opened her mouth, probably had a speech ready. I cut her off by holding out the envelope. Her eyes dropped to it. What is this? Everything you didn't think I'd find. She didn't reach for it. Ryan, she started, her voice too soft. We don't have to end it this way. This is the only way left. I didn't mean for it to get this far. I shook my head. You meant for it not to be found out. That's not the same. She tried to smile, but it collapsed halfway. He's gone, she whispered. Zach. He ghosted me. His wife knows. I know, I said. Her eyes snapped to mine. You told her. She deserved to know. So did I, she snapped back, something finally breaking through. I deserved to know how broken we were. You just watched me disappear. I actually laughed. Disappear? You invited another man into our home. You planned weekends, bought him gifts with our money, and called me dead weight in voice memos like you were reading poetry. Her lips parted like she wanted to deny it, but didn't. Couldn't. I messed up, she said. No, I corrected. You chose this. Every day. Every lie. Every code you shared. Every kiss you gave him in our kitchen. She looked down, ashamed. For real this time. Or maybe just finally out of scripts. I never thought you'd actually leave. That's the problem, I said. You thought I'd stay no matter what. You forgot I was quiet, not blind. I placed the envelope on the porch railing beside her. I'm not asking for revenge, I said. I'm asking for space. For peace. And I'm taking both. She didn't move. I turned to go. Ryan, she called, voice almost shaking. What happens now? I stopped. You read. You sign. You go, I said without looking back. And maybe someday you realize I wasn't the one who quit. Then I got in my truck, turned the key, and drove away, not fast, not angry. Just gone. I didn't feel triumphant when it was over. No standing on a mountain. No slow-motion walk away from an explosion. Just quiet. That kind of quiet you get after surgery. The pain is still there, but now you know it's healing. She signed the papers. Didn't fight. Didn't contest. She called once, left a voicemail I didn't listen to. Just a name, a breath, a pause, and the click of her ending it without really ending it. Typical. I sold the house 2 weeks later. Took what I needed, donated the rest. Furniture we picked together. Gifts from anniversaries I now realized were half performed. The wedding album went in a box I didn't label. Maybe I'll burn it. Maybe I won't. I moved into a small rental on the edge of town. 2 bedrooms. Clean. Empty. I bought a couch that didn't have her perfume on it, and sheets I'd never shared with anyone. For the first time in years, I slept like the bed belonged to me. People asked what happened. I said we grew apart. Let them believe that. The real answer has too many sharp edges. Sometimes I'd catch myself checking the mirror, like I expected to see someone else. The man I used to be, the husband, the provider, the blind optimist. He's gone. Not dead. Just packed away. In his place? Someone leaner. Sharper. Not cruel. Not cynical. Just awake. One evening, I ran into Zach's wife, Kelly, at a grocery store. She looked tired but not broken. Strong, in that way you only get after watching your whole world burn and realizing you survived. We nodded. That was enough. A week later, I got a letter. Handwritten. No return address. Ryan, you don't know me, but you saved me. When I got your letter, I thought it was a prank. A mistake. Then I saw the truth. And suddenly, my whole life made sense. I used to wonder why I felt so small in my own house. Now I know. Thank you. K. I folded the letter and put it in a drawer I don't open often. The one labeled. What I carried, and what I let go. As for Madison? She moved out of town. I heard through a friend that she tried to start over somewhere else. New job. New look. Probably telling people her ex-husband was distant, emotionally unavailable, maybe a little cold. Let her. She can paint me however she wants. I'm not stepping back into that story. Because here's what no one tells you about betrayal: it doesn't end with yelling or slamming doors. It ends in the stillness, in the space they leave behind. And the question you ask when the noise is gone: now what? I'm still answering that. Every day. But I know this much: I won't live in a house of borrowed walls again. I won't share my bed with lies, or my trust with someone who treats love like an option. And when I love again, because I will, it'll be as the man who didn't shatter, but sharpened. Because the thing about exit wounds? They hurt like hell. But they prove you survived.